The richest place in the world is not the bank. It's the mind. Because every fortune, every invention, every empire started first as a thought. And every failure, every broken dream, every wasted life also started as a thought. Your mind is a factory. Every single day it produces ideas, beliefs, and stories. And here's the secret. Those stories become your reality. If your mind is full of doubt, your life will be full of hesitation. If your mind is full of fear, your life will be full of limits. But if your mind is full of vision, courage, and determination, then nothing outside can stop you. The world you live in tomorrow is being built by the thoughts you are having today. And the most dangerous mistake you can make is to think that your thoughts don't matter. Because what you think, you become. Your thoughts can be your wings or your prison. Most people don't even realize it, but they are living inside walls built by their own minds. Walls made of words like, I can't, I'm not good enough, people like me never succeed. These thoughts sound harmless, but over time, they become chains. They keep you in the same job you hate. They keep you in relationships that drain your soul. They keep you silent when your heart is screaming to speak. And here's the cruel trick. The prison is invisible. From the outside, everything looks normal. You wake up, you work, you smile. But inside, you are trapped by the voice that tells you you are not capable. That's why so many people never even try. It's not because the world stops them. It's because their mind whispers, don't bother. You'll fail. And they believe it. But here's the truth. Those walls are not real. They are only thoughts. And the moment you change the story in your mind, the prison disappears. The difference between a person who stays small and a person who rises high is not luck, not talent, not even opportunity. It is the thoughts they choose to believe. What you think, you become. There was once a young man who grew up in poverty. He wore secondhand clothes, ate the cheapest food, and heard the same message every single day. People like us never get rich. Just survive. That's all you can do. For years, he believed it. He thought success was only for the lucky few. Those born into wealth, those with powerful parents, those who had talent. So he never tried. He worked small jobs, earned just enough to eat, and stayed in the same circle of hopeless friends. But one day, he read a simple line in a book. If you change your mind, you change your life. At first, he laughed. How can a thought change anything? But the idea stayed in his head. He began to question the story he had been told. Was it true that he could never succeed? Or was it just a thought he had borrowed from others? So he experimented. He told himself, I can learn. I can grow. I can build a different life. It felt strange at first, even fake. But slowly, his actions began to change. He studied skills. He worked smarter. He surrounded himself with people who believed in growth instead of limitation. Years later, he was unrecognizable. The same boy who once thought he was nothing had become a successful entrepreneur, helping others escape poverty too. What changed? Not his family, not his luck, not his past, only his thoughts. Because what you think, you become. Every thought is a seed. When you plant a seed in the soil, it doesn't look powerful. It's small, invisible, easy to ignore. But if you water it, it grows into a tree. Your mind works the same way. A single thought like, I'm not good enough, seems harmless. But if you repeat it every day, if you give it attention, it grows roots. It becomes a belief. And that belief shapes your choices, your actions, your entire life. On the other hand, a thought like, I can improve, is also just a seed. It feels weak at first, maybe even unbelievable. But if you repeat it, if you nurture it, it also grows roots. And soon, it becomes a tree of confidence, discipline, and strength. The tragedy is that most people water the wrong seeds. They feed their fear, their doubt, their excuses. And then they wonder why their life feels like a garden of weeds. But the truth is simple. You cannot control every event in your life, but you can control which thoughts you water. And the thoughts you choose to feed today will will become the reality you live in tomorrow. Because what you think, you become. Negative thoughts are like a virus. They start small, a whisper in your head. You can't do this. You'll embarrass yourself. Why even try? At first, you ignore it. But the virus spreads. One negative thought turns into 10. And soon, it infects your confidence, your courage, your future. The worst part? You start believing the virus is the truth. You think, maybe I really am too weak. Maybe I really am stuck. But it's not truth. It's just repetition. Here's the cure. Replace the virus with stronger thoughts. When the mind says, I can't, answer, I can learn. When the mind says, I'm not ready, answer, I will prepare. When the mind says, I'll fail, answer, failure is my teacher. Slowly, the new thoughts push out the old ones. And just like the body heals after sickness, the mind heals after negativity. The difference between a weak person and a strong one is not that one never hears negative thoughts. It's that one refuses to feed them. Because what you think, you become. Your imagination is not just fantasy. It is the blueprint of your future. Every great invention, every company, every movement began in someone's mind long before it existed in the world. Airplanes flew in the imagination of the Wright brothers before they ever touched the sky. Electric light shone in Edison's thoughts before it ever lit a single room. And every success story you admire was first written in the invisible ink of thought. Most people don't realize it, but every time you imagine failure, you are rehearsing it. Every time you imagine fear, you are practicing weakness. And every time you imagine success, you are training your brain to make it real. That's why the rich, the strong, the powerful spend time visualizing. They don't only see what is, they see what could be. They live the future in their mind until their body, their actions, their world catch up. So ask yourself, what movie is playing in your head every day? Is it a film of doubt, limits, and excuses? Or is it a film of courage, growth, and victory? Because the pictures in your mind are not just entertainment. They are instructions to your life. And what you think, you become. Your mind is powerful, but it is also vulnerable. The thoughts you allow inside are shaped by the people around you. If you spend time with complainers, their words plant seeds of negativity in your head. If you spend time with dreamers, their vision plants seeds of possibility. This is why environment is everything. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they listen to the wrong voices. Think about it. If your friends always say, it's impossible, soon you will stop trying. If your family always says, be realistic, soon your dreams will shrink. But if your circle says, go for it, learn, grow, then your confidence rises. Your thoughts are mirrors. They reflect what you hear, what you see, what you allow near you. That is why protecting your mind is as important as protecting your body. Be ruthless about it. Cut out voices that poison you. Seek out voices that lift you higher. Because in the end, your environment shapes your thoughts. And what you think, you become. Two young men grew up in the same neighborhood. They went to the same school, faced the same struggles, and dreamed of a better life. The first surrounded himself with negative voices. His friends told him, why bother? People like us never make it. His co-workers said, stay safe. Don't take risks. Soon, his thoughts copied theirs. He stopped dreaming, stopped trying, and lived the same small life until the end. The second young man made a different choice. He sought out mentors, books, and people who thought bigger. Instead of hearing, you can't, he heard, you can learn. Instead of, it's too late, he heard, it's never too late. And slowly, his thoughts began to change. With new thoughts came new actions. With new actions came new results. And years later, the boy who once walked the same streets as everyone else was traveling the world, building a business, and inspiring others. What made the difference? Not his school, not his luck, not his background, only the thoughts he chose to believe. Because what you think, you become. Success always begins in the mind. If you don't believe it's possible, you will never take the steps to make it real. If you don't believe you deserve it, you will sabotage yourself before you even begin. If you don't believe you can change, you will stay stuck exactly where you are. This is why so many people never succeed, not because they lack skills, but because they lack belief. Their thoughts quietly whisper, "Not me, not now, not ever." And they listen. But the people who rise are not always the smartest or the most talented. They are simply the ones who believe first. They hold the picture of success in their mind long before anyone else can see it. And that belief fuels their actions until the world has no choice but to notice. Every great achievement in history started with someone who dared to think, "I can." And every wasted life ended with someone who thought, "I can't." Your thoughts set the limit. Your thoughts set the ceiling. Your thoughts set the stage. Because what you think, you become. Every thought you repeat becomes a belief. It doesn't matter if the thought is true or false. If you hear it enough times, your mind accepts it as reality. This is why repetition is so powerful. If you tell yourself every morning, "I'm not good enough," your brain begins to look for proof. It notices every mistake, every failure, every rejection. And soon, it becomes your identity. But if you tell yourself, "I am learning, I am improving, I am capable," your brain also looks for proof. It notices small wins, small growth, small progress. And soon, that becomes your identity too. The brain doesn't care what you feed it. It will grow whatever seeds you plant. Negative or positive, weak or strong. The choice is yours. Think about advertising. Why do companies spend billions to repeat the same message again and again? Because they know repetition works. Even if you don't believe it at first, eventually you accept it. Your thoughts are running ads in your mind every day. The question is, are they advertising your weakness or your strength? If you repeat, "I can't," your life becomes proof of that ad. If you repeat, "I can," your life becomes proof of that ad too. That's why the people who succeed are not always the most talented. They are the ones who mastered their inner dialogue. They chose their thoughts carefully. They repeated what made them strong, until belief became unshakable, and unshakable belief created unstoppable action. Because what you think, you become. Your thoughts are not just silent words in your head. They are the spark that ignites everything. Here's the chain of life. Thoughts create emotions. If you think, "I'm a failure," you feel hopeless. If you think, "I can handle this," you feel confident. Emotions create actions. When you feel hopeless, you do nothing. When you feel confident, you move forward. Actions create results. Doing nothing keeps you stuck. Moving forward brings progress. Results create destiny. Every result, good or bad, builds your future. So your destiny doesn't start with luck or money or talent. It starts with the quiet thoughts inside your mind. Most people blame circumstances. They say, "I can't succeed because of my family, my job, my past." But two people can face the same circumstance and end up with completely different lives because they thought differently. One says, "I'm trapped," feels powerless, takes no action, stays stuck. The other says, "I'll find a way," feels determined, tries again and again, breaks free. Same world, same problems, different thoughts, different destinies. And this is the law you cannot escape. Change your thoughts, and you change your emotions. Change your emotions, and you change your actions. Change your actions, and you change your life. Because what you think, you become. One of the most powerful examples of thought shaping destiny comes from Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the Nazi concentration camps during World War II. He lost his family. He lost his freedom. He faced hunger, brutality, and death every single day. The pain was beyond imagination. Most prisoners gave up inside. They told themselves, "This is the end. There is no hope." Their thoughts turned to despair. Despair became weakness, and weakness led to death. But Frankl made a different choice. He realized that while the guards could control his body, they could not control his mind. So he chose his thoughts carefully. He told himself, I will find meaning in this suffering. I will survive to tell this story. That thought gave him strength. Strength gave him small actions, helping other prisoners, holding on one more day. And those small actions kept him alive. After the war, Frankl became a great psychologist. He wrote the book, Man's Search for Meaning, a masterpiece that has inspired millions. His story proves something incredible. Even in the darkest hell, your mind is still free. And the thoughts you choose can literally decide whether you live or die. Because what you think, you become. Most people don't realize it, but every day they are programming their own mind. When you wake up and think, I'm so tired. Today will be terrible. You are writing a script, and your body follows it. You walk with low energy. You see only problems. You prove yourself right. When you say, I'm unlucky. Nothing works for me. You are programming your brain to ignore opportunities. Even if a door opens, you won't see it, because your thoughts trained your eyes to look for failure. It's not magic. It's science. The brain listens to your words and starts building reality to match them. But here's the good news. You can reprogram it. It starts with simple replacements. Instead of I can't, say, I will learn. Instead of this is too hard, say, this is how I grow. Instead of I always fail, say, every failure is a lesson. At first, it feels fake. Your brain resists because it's used to the old program. But with repetition, the new code becomes stronger. And soon, your life begins to reflect the new thoughts. This is why affirmations, journaling, meditation, and visualization are so powerful. They are not silly tricks. They are tools for rewriting the code of your mind. Because if you don't program your thoughts, the world will do it for you. And the world is not interested in making you strong. It's interested in making you obedient. So choose your program wisely. Because what you think, you become. Think of Elon Musk. Today, he is one of the most influential entrepreneurs in the world. SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink. But none of these existed until they were first born in his mind. When Musk spoke about rockets that could land and fly again, most experts laughed. They said, impossible, fantasy, waste of money. But Musk's thoughts were different. If I can imagine it, I can try. And if I try long enough, it will work. That thought gave him courage. Courage gave him action. Action gave him results. And now, the same experts who laughed are studying his rockets. The same happened with Tesla. The world thought electric cars could never be fast, stylish, or practical. Musk thought differently. He held the vision in his mind until it became reality on the road. This is the power of thought. The majority sees limits. The visionary sees possibility. Elon Musk is not a magician. He simply understands the law of the mind. What you hold in your thoughts long enough and act on with enough persistence becomes real. And that's the same law that shapes your life every single day. Because what you think, you become. Now let me ask you something uncomfortable. If your thoughts are shaping your life, what kind of life are your thoughts building right now? Be honest with yourself. When you wake up in the morning, are your first thoughts full of energy and direction? Or are they heavy with worry, doubt, and excuses? When you face a challenge, do you think, this is my chance to grow? Or do you think, this is too hard, I can't handle it? Look at your current results, your job, your health, your relationships. They are mirrors, reflecting the thoughts you've been repeating for years. If you don't like what you see, don't blame the world. Don't blame luck. Don't blame anyone else. Go back to the source, your mind. Because your outer life will never rise higher than your inner thoughts. Here is the truth. If you want to change your life, you must first change your thinking. It's the only way. So, I'll ask again. Are your thoughts building your future? Or are they quietly destroying it? Because what you think, you become. If you want to change your life, you must start with changing your thoughts. But how? Here is a simple plan you can begin today. Step 1. Become aware. Notice the voice in your head. Write down the negative thoughts that repeat the most. I can't. I'm not ready. I'll fail. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Step 2. Replace, don't fight. Don't argue with negative thoughts. Replace them. When your mind says, I can't, reply, I am learning. When it says, I'm not ready, reply, I'll prepare. This rewires your brain over time. Step 3. Visualize. Spend 5 minutes each day imagining the life you want as if it's already real. Feel the confidence, the freedom, the success. Your brain starts to accept it as normal and moves you toward it. Step 4. Surround yourself wisely. Protect your mind from complainers, gossip, and doubt. Spend time with people, books, and content that lift you higher. Remember, voices around you become voices inside you. Step 5. Repeat daily. Your old thoughts are strong because you repeated them for years. Your new thoughts will only win if you repeat them every day. This is not magic. It is discipline. And discipline in your thoughts will create discipline in your life. Because what you think, you become. Here is the truth you can't escape. Your life will always move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. If you keep thinking small, your life will stay small. If you keep thinking weak, your life will stay weak. But if you choose thoughts of courage, discipline, and vision, your life will expand beyond what you thought was possible. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need luck. You need a decision. The decision to control your mind before it controls you. Imagine looking back 1 year from now. Do you want to see the same doubts, the same fears, the same excuses? Or do you want to see a stronger, braver, freer version of yourself? That choice begins today. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. Because every thought you have right now is a seed. And tomorrow, you will live in the garden you plant today. So plant wisely. Think boldly. Build your future with intention. What you think, you become. If you are ready to master your mind and transform your life, then don't just watch. Take action. Subscribe to StoryVibe English right now. Because this is not just about learning English. It's about learning the language of success, and it starts with your thoughts.